drew you to this part?
For me, it was one of the smarter romantic comedies that I've read over the last 10 years. I kind of avoided romantic comedies because I didn't find them to be smart. So when I read this one, I felt like it was smart. It was colorless. You know, it just felt normal, and I really responded to the part of Dominic, and then obviously the opportunity to work with Tim Story from Barbershop again as a director was in it for me as well. So you know that was important. Hold on a second. Shh.
Wasn't us.
I'm talking here.
And you said that you were drawn to Dominic. Did you ever at any point consider playing any of the other characters in the movie?
They had asked me about Michael, or Dominic, which was, I think Terrence played Michael. So, but yeah, I just responded to Dominic strong. Like Dominic to me was the guy who kind of mans up, you know, and it was like kind of a leading man role within a ensemble film.
What do you hope people take away from it? I mean, it's going to be talked about a lot, especially with relationships as topsy-turvy as they are, especially in the African American community.
I think you just said it. You know, it's going to be talked about a lot, and that's what I want people to walk away and do. I mean, I think I've always prided myself on trying to have roles with impact. And I think that this, not only do I have a role with impact, but I feel like this whole film has an impact.
Right.
I think it's the kind of film that will stand the test of time. I think people will be watching this 10 years from now like they are Barbershop. You know what I mean? And that's okay with me.
Yeah. So I was reading a little of your bio. You decided to become an actor when you were about 19. Like when you had your moment of clarity, as it said. That's a strong feeling.
It is.
So I mean, I know you have no regrets, but are there any things that you wish were just a little bit better in terms of keeping your career going? And yours is going. You're working a lot more than most.
I'm blessed. I believe that everything happens according to God's plan. So He'll give me whatever I'm ready for.
Right.
So if I'm supposed to be bigger,
right,
then He'll do it on His time, and I'll go with that. I had to come to terms with that. There were times when I was impatient, but at this point in my life, I'm like, okay, I just sit back and kind of ride with it. If I could do, the only thing I wish I could do over again was probably learn more about the business side of things earlier. You know, when you're in acting school, they don't teach you how to be in the business. They just teach you the craft.
Right.
I think that's wrong.
Right.
I'd like to go back a little bit to the impact of the movie. There's a lot of, it's very clearly kind of a battle of the sexes in a good portion of the movie, and then they kind of finally come together. Where do you think men and women are kind of doing it wrong in their dating today?
I don't know. I think men and women are doing something that has been happening for years. I don't think dating has necessarily changed, except some of the chivalry is gone. Some of the courtship is gone, and I think both women and men are responsible for that decline. I still think, the good thing about this movie is we kind of show that, ultimately people are going to play games. And as long as we continue to not be true to ourselves from the moment we meet somebody, like I may not be completely who I am right now with you. You may not be completely who you are with me right now. And that's what you do now when you first meet somebody. And that's what creates the battle of the sexes. That's what creates the mind games. That's what That's what mating is. You know what I mean? You know, you're brightening up your feathers like a bird and trying to attract the opposite sex. And you're not showing some of the darker sides. You're not showing, you know, the fact that you like to wear pajamas, you know, and rollers and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, it's all about being yourself, I think. And I think what the movie does right is you show these people that don't want to quite be themselves up front, and then through the battle of the mind games, they eventually let down their guards, and next thing you know, there's a true connection.
Yep.
So I think I can't say that anybody's doing anything wrong. I just think people are doing what's natural.
So what was it like to work on the sets with the chemistry, with the cast, with director Tim Story? You worked with him before in Barbershop, so tell us about the atmosphere.
Kevin Hart is in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The atmosphere was like a stand-up comedy show. We spent numerous minutes of the day laughing. We had a lot of fun. It was like Barbershop. You shoot an ensemble film, and you're bound to have a bunch of fun. We clicked as a group of guys. We clicked pretty quickly. We really clicked when we got to the basketball stuff, which was, unfortunately was last, but that's when we really clicked. But I'll always be brothers with these guys, and you know, Tim has a great knack for cultivating an ensemble cast and an ensemble film and ensemble performances, and I think he did a really good job of that.
Now, going back to the book, is there any particular topic that you can relate to personally about a particular guy that were portrayed in the film?
I'm sorry, say that again?
In other words, we had the different guys that were represented within the book. Is there any particular guy you can relate to personally?
Yeah. This is what I say. The reality is this. Dominic, Zeke, played by Romany Malcolm, and Jeremy, played by Jerry Farrar. They all represented three phases in my life. Every character, I've been there, or am there. It's actually kind of funny to me. But yeah, I can relate to those three characters the most. I've never been married and I've never been divorced, so Gary's character and Kevin's character I can't relate to.
Which phase are you in now?
I'm probably in the non-committer phase. I'm like, yeah. But yeah, I mean that's yeah.
What about the specifically one thing I liked about the film at the end, where everybody kind of gets to that point where you play the games and then you come together. Do you like what your character did in terms of getting there, getting to that moment where you really let your guard down, like, okay, she's back now, let me just go from here? We don't see that happen, but you know what I mean? Do you see that actually going down like that?
At the end.
Yeah.
It's you know what I like about what Dominic does is that he takes control of his situation after he gets dumped.
Right.
You know, I think that's his wake-up call, to start taking control of your life in every facet of your life. Take control, and that's where he finally learns how to execute his dreams.
Right.
And you can either get down with that or not.
Right.
Yeah, I like the way he handled himself.
Yeah, I think that your character was a big part that men will walk away from saying, I kind of dig that part. Like,
my man.
Yeah, like seriously, because you had
No, I hear you.
He had to cut her off to like go find himself.
Right.
Like, what am I doing? I've given so much power away to this person I just met,
Mm-hmm.
and she yanked it from me.
Well,
what I mean?
I've always said, I remember when I moved to New York. When I moved to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I learned from that experience is sometimes you got to take a step, 2 steps backwards in order to take 3 steps forwards.
Right.
And I think with Dominic, with Lauren, played by Taraji, when she breaks up with him, it is that's him taking a step backwards.
Yeah.
But he knows where he's got to go from there.
Yeah.
You know, and he takes a step backwards, but he takes 2 steps forward.
Yeah.
So, you know, actually, I would say 4 steps forward. He comes a long way.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's something. It's a moment to be proud of, and I think a lot of guys will be able to relate to that. I think you're absolutely right.
I know I did.
Last question?
So we got a couple minutes for both.
Yeah. Did you guys have a last
Yes.
question?
I was good.
No, I'm good.
You good? What are you working on next? Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah. May 11th, a show for USA Network called Common Law. It's kind of an action buddy comedy, more comedy, and that's going to run throughout the summer. An independent project called Unconditional, kind of a touching story about redemption. That should be coming out in the fall. So,
Tell us about your role in that movie.
in Redemption. I mean, sorry, in Unconditional.
Unconditional.
Redemption.
Fox.
I am playing a guy who's kind of gone the gamut. You know, the highly intelligent guy who basically got caught up with the wrong crowd and then turned his life around, and now he's doing everything in his power to try and help out and empower the youth of his community.
Is it based on a true story?
That's what I've been told.
Okay.
I just can't say that. Yes, it is. It's a true story.
And whose story?
You got to see the movie.
You have to see the movie. Okay.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.